Anyway,
like
that's how can you sense that he's not religious from Discord, bro? I don't understand. Nigga say you're not religious.
Wait, Destiny, since we twinning PFPs, come judge with me, nigga. Come judge with me since you want to take my...
You're not judging, bro.
Alright,
I don't want you to judge, bro.
I don't know why y'all like just like
This
find
deep voice
somebody that
ass
both
nigga.
fuck with. Like,
I don't
Yo,
want you to
Destiny,
judge,
we
bro.
judging this shit?
No.
Sure, I don't mind.
No.
Bro, y'all niggas gotta be the
Yeah, I don't mind.
funniest like retards I've ever met.
Literally,
Just getting tired.
I got a screenshot for this man right here. Hold on, bro.
You know what? Fuck it. Let Villain judge. He neutral as fuck.
Is he gonna give a live judgment, bro?
I think we all know I don't want villain judging.
I also need a moderator because I'm going point by
I
point.
could moderate, but y'all would both have to agree to me. And
I
feel
wish
like
Taco was here. Taco could have been a good option. Oh, where's Apollo? Where's Apollo? Where's he at? Get him.
Get his son.
Apollo's so neutral. He couldn't even
why do we
decide
need a
who won.
live judge in the first place?
I want a live judge because I want.
Oh
Actually,
my god,
wait.
Shara can be the live judge, bro.
Wait, so you said shit. Oh my god.
Yes, we're just wasting time at this point. Yes, you're just wasting time.
Later.
Yo, Shinra, you pull any bias shit, we running it on the judgment.
Oh, no one cares. Okay. You ready, Astro, bro?
Yeah.
Shinra, are you recording on OBS? Confirm in chat. Testing. Cool. My first question to you, or do you want to scale for? Actually, no, I'll scale. My first question to you is: first of all, do you agree that it's like within Choso's character to just use piercing blood off the start of the fight?
To start off the fight?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Do you agree that typically, like, it's within his character to aim for the head when using piercing blood?
I don't know about that.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna have to get some scans for you. Give me a sec.
Actually, I'll steal man. It's pointless. Continue. Hello?
What?
Where'd he disappear to?
Wait, are you here?
I just said I'll steal man. Continue.
Yeah. My fault is because I was loading my browser and I lag when I do that. So, anyways, yeah. So he aims for the head when he uses piercing blood. He uses piercing blood at the beginning in character. Can I ask, what does your character do to piercing blood? Like, how does he react to it?
Dodge.
Why does he have the ability to dodge piercing blood?
Faster.
Based off of what?
Faster than base Yuji, who could react to piercing blood.
What the fuck?
Or like severely faster than like Shibuya base Yuji.
You could try to prove that.
Shibuya base Yuji, you agree is relative to Nanami?
No, I don't agree.
Stated.
In terms of what, his striking strength?
Yeah, I think stats are relative.
You can go ahead and try to prove that.
Prove which one? The fact that their striking strength is relative, or the fact that their stats are relative?
You can try to prove that. Okay. As for the striking strength is relative, I'm actually kind of dubious as to what form of Nanami that applies to. The statement just says, "Oh yeah, he might be on Nanami's level," but we know Nanami has. Hold on, Astro. Hold on, chill. Oh wait, I wasn't done. Do you wanna wait? Hold on. Do you wanna agree to moderation, bro?
What? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's fine. But I don't want you to interject like that when I'm talking. So do you want to agree to moderation?
No, I mean, sure. I don't think it matters either way. If you want,
so you don't think it? You don't think? Wait, so you don't think it matters? Wait, hold on, Astro. Wait. Okay, let's try this again. You don't think it matters whether the statement you're using to prove Yuji is relative to Nanami refers to a base version of Nanami or an overtime version of Nanami? Is that what you're saying?
No. Yes, I don't think it matters.
Why? Go ahead.
Because I think Team Ghetto's above either form, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
If he's above overtime, then if it's in reference to overtime, it works.
In terms of striking strength, what the fuck? Okay. In terms of striking strength, sure, Yuji can be relative to a base Nanami. That's fine. Go ahead.
Do you think it's a base Nanami? Sure.
I don't care about the form. Can you try get Team Geto above that version?
Oh, so you agree stats are relative then?
I don't agree Okay. I'll put the Team Geto being above on hold. Can you prove stats are relative first? Go ahead.
Do you agree that you manipulate curse energy relatively throughout the body?
What do you mean by relatively throughout the body?
You what? What do you mean? You
What do you
flow
mean
it?
by?
Well, the amount of CE that you're able to manipulate, you take that amount and you put relative amounts throughout your entire body.
Oh no, in terms of combat, no, I wholeheartedly disagree. That's just false.
Why?
Okay, I'll give you two examples. In the UG versus Maito example, Maito makes a statement and he says that UG's concentrating cursed energy into his fist, so he's going to end with a strike to the neck, which is implicative of the fact that since he's focusing into his fist for combat, it would not be flowed relatively. Would you agree?
I agree, but the issue with that is that Yuji specifically needs to flow it all into his fist so he could beat Mato because that's what he specifically states. But we know in the Goodwill incident, when he's shown how to manipulate cursed energy, he stated to flow it throughout his entire body.
Wait. Okay. And then I'll put that on hold. I'm just giving my instances. So you agree to the first one. Would you agree with when Megumi is trying to tank the G4? You agree to the first instance. I'm just giving all my instances first before we get into the Goodwill thing. Would you agree that in the Reggie fight, Megumi concentrates his curse energy to his legs in order to withstand the force that's like output to him? Would you agree with that?
If you just, it just sounds like you're overall asking if there's specific instances where people do focus curse energy into a specific part of their body for a certain cause, then yes, I do agree with that.
Yeah.
See
So
Toto.
yeah.
Wait, hold on. I'm not done. I'm not done. Don't say you don't want me to cut you off and cut me off. But we see instances in which Toto, when he's hit with the black flash, he subconsciously forces all of his CE into his stomach so he's able to take the attack. But I'm saying the general consensus as to how cursed energy is manipulated, because Toto's making a general statement as to how Yuji is supposed to manipulate cursed energy. We see that it's meant to be relatively flow throughout their body. So you bringing up special cases in which a character has a certain goal in which they need to specifically focus that cursed energy into a certain part of their body, then that's a different case from what I'm trying to argue.
Yeah. Can you send the Goodwill statement? Keep in mind, you said that is a general statement. The statements that, well, not the statements, the instances that I showed were within combat. So the point that I was trying to make, or the entailment of my argument, was just that if we see that within, I wasn't done. Okay, chill. The entailment of my argument was that if we see that in combat, Yuji, in order to like deal more damage to Mahito, focuses his curse energy into his fists. Megumi, in order to withstand the force, focuses his curse energy into his legs. Todo, to withstand force, focuses it into his stomach. And that this is within combat. I'm asking you about what's it called? In what instances would you focus it relatively throughout the body within combat? Because we see that within combat, it seems to be the case that they focus it within specific body parts that they're using to fight actively. So if I'm punching the fist, if I'm blocking the, I wasn't done. If I'm punching the fist, if I'm defending whatever part I'm defending with,
fist.
what do you punch with, Astro?
Are you say punching with fist or the fist? I heard the fist.
What can you punch with outside from the fists, Astro?
You're not
okay then. You said what are you punching? Or are you saying punching with the fist? You can't punch with anything that's not a fist.
Say punching the fist?
No, I said punching with fists.
Okay, there you go. So continue. Okay. That's why I told you to keep going.
Punching the fists. Yuji is punching Mahito and he's trying to deal damage using his fists, so he concentrates the curse energy, or all of his curse energy, into his fists. Okay. Todo's trying to defend against an attack, so he concentrates it into his stomach where he's being attacked. So my argument is that within combat, they concentrate their curse energy into the part that they're attacking with, not proportionally, which is why I'm asking you for the Goodwill scan to see if this debunks it, because a general statement would apply to all cases.
Okay, so I sent the scan, which is also within combat because they're currently fighting each other, and he's saying that the way in which Yuji is manipulating his cursed energy throughout the beginning half of the fight is incorrect. That's why he stops the fight in order to explain to him the proper way to manipulate cursed energy, so he can do better in the latter half of the fight. And then that's why I'm saying both of our instances currently deal with manipulation of cursed energy within combat. But I'm saying within your instances, there's special cases where they require to enforce or to put all of that cursed energy into one specific part of their body to do a specific cause. That's why I say Yuji, right before he puts it all into his fist, literally says that he's going to need all of his cursed energy into his fist in order to defeat Mahito. So he needs it for that specific cause. But before that cause, he's flooring it relatively throughout his body. And then within the specific Toto instance, in order to stop the attack from the black flash going directly to his gut, he subconsciously moves it through into his stomach, which literally helps my point, because if he's not doing it consciously and he's doing it subconsciously, then naturally he's flowing it throughout his body, but his body naturally did it in this specific motion in order to protect him. And in the Megami instance, it's quite literally the same thing as what I've just been saying. So if you have like anything
Yeah,
to say that,
I understand. So first thing,
okay,
the UG example, that doesn't defeat my argument. It doesn't matter if he needs all of
yes,
his
it
curse energy,
does.
whether he needs to do X. I'm saying that there are specific instances within combat where he has to flow his curse energy to his fists, which is what he's using to fight. For the Todo example, he does not say that he needs to flow all of his curse energy. It just says he's instinctively concentrated his curse energy into his stomach to minimize the force of the attack. So once again, the thing that he's using to defend is being reinforced. He's not flowing it relatively. And for the Megami instance, like I said, he's focusing it onto his legs so that he can withstand the force. That's perfectly fine. As for the scan that you sent here, nothing about this scan even is indicates what you're arguing. Nothing about this scan says that you have to flow it evenly throughout the body. It just says that you have to flow it from your stomach to your arms to your chest, etc., etc. I don't see the point you're trying to make here.
I did you the other half of the scan too, then, but I don't think. Let me get the scan first for you, and then I'll explain. I don't think you're attacking anything.
You can think that.
Can we get judgment on that point from Shinra?
What?
What? We're not done yet.
I'm
Okay, sorry.
confused.
I'm sorry, because Astro's just beating his ass already.
Yeah, you're right.
The point. Like, no matter what you say, even if you say that him flowing it into his fist was for a different cause, unless you say he actively fights like that, then we can only say in these specific cases and these special occasions that they utilize that cursed energy all in one body part rather than the natural flow throughout, or the natural relative flow throughout their body that they do when they're casually fighting. Like, for example, anytime before this instance when he's fighting like 120% Mahito, my argument is that he's just naturally flowing it throughout his body.
Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask for a scan. Cause like I said, I'll get on my phone. Or
A
you
scan
actually
for what?
you might just concede to it. Do you remember when Yuji and Megami get ready to fight Awasaka?
Yeah.
And then it shows, like, it visually depicts Yuji's cuss energy in his fists.
Which specific instance?
Before they fight Awasaka, they say,
I could
"Can't
go
waste
back to
time here."
I could go back to the chapter, but I don't remember that.
Yeah, I'll find it for you. Don't worry. Give me a sec before I give this argument right here, bro.
You said while they're fighting Awasaka?
No, don't worry. I'll get it.
Oh, are you talking about when they're just standing there?
Don't worry. Chill. Wait. I'm
Because I
finding
see the
something.
scan. If you're talking about the cursed energy around his fist.
I'm sending it. Wait. Alright, so it should be sending. Basically, bro, say, or your argument is that when they're trying to like do specific things, they might focus it disproportionately, but in casual instances, they focus it proportionally. The things or the stuff that I brought to you, the instances that I gave to you, weren't special cases at all. Like we see here when he's preparing to fight Osaka, the cursed energy is visually depicted to be focused around his fists. My entire argument was that since Yuji's like a punching type of guy, he fights using his punches. When they says, oh yeah, he's gonna focus his cursed energy all into his hands so he can do the most amount of damage, alright? that just is indicative of the fact that you can flow your curse energy disproportionately. We see it in 2 instances with Yuji. We see it with Megami, and we see it with Todo. To defend against attacks and to attack, it is very possible that you can flow your curse energy disproportionately throughout your
Wait,
body.
what? I never said you couldn't.
Wait. So I've showed instances within combat, okay, within combat where they are trying to defend or attack, where they flow their curse energy disproportionately in order to deal damage offensively or be defensive, and you keep saying, oh yeah, in this scan we see that he has to flow curse energy throughout his whole body or XYZ or something like that. And I don't see how it fulfills the burden. Like even in the Yuta example,
Huh?
wait, chill. Even in the Yuta example, right, where it shows like the right punch, is it really a right punch? I don't think that helps you at all. Like I could just interpret this to mean that the curse energy that they're manipulating is more precisely manipulated than the other person. So instead of
What do
like
you mean by more precisely?
wait. Yeah, that's what I was gonna explain. So when they're preparing the right punch, it's the same amount of curse energy. However, they wrap it more tightly around their arm so as to not reveal the location, rather than it being a completely disparate amount of curse energy in the first place. Hence why I'm saying that they can manipulate the curse energy more precisely.
Why?
And
How they're able to condense
one,
cursed energy? Where does that ever show?
I was mid sentence, bro. So I'm just gonna dismiss whatever you said. And then finally,
No, because you're making multiple claims now.
okay. So wait, okay. If we're making multiple claims, since you brought up multiple scans, we can either dismiss this scan until you bring it back up again, or we can go through all of these scans.
And supporting one point, you're now
Wait,
going.
but these scans have embedded claims, and those embedded claims need to be addressed by me.
What embedded claims do these
Okay,
scans have?
so you're saying that the visual
Adequately claims
depiction,
about them.
you're saying that the visual depiction supports the interpretation. I'm saying I can interpret it in a different way that supports my interpretation. You sent another
Yeah.
scan that says that he thinks of the body as one part. I'm trying to explain why that doesn't support your point. If you want to put these on hold or bring them back up at a later point in the debate, that's fine.
I'm saying that these two scans are quite literally the same thing. It's just a visual representation of what Toto is saying. You're trying to separate the two
Wait,
things.
you do? Okay, wait, chill. This is just a okay, bro. You're not understanding. So this leads me back onto the
You're
next.
the one that's lost.
Chill. This leads me back onto the next point that I was gonna make about thinking of the body or thinking of the body as one part instead of disparate body parts. The fact that what's it called? In this scan, it literally shows that the elite fighter is punching and like they have greater accuracy when controlling their curse energy. Will just show that they're not thinking of their body as one whole part. They have to think about it as disparate body parts. Yuji might think of it as one whole part in order to learn how to greater control his accuracy. However, in order for this scan to work, where they're controlling the curse energy around their fist in order to not reveal the attack in itself, they need to acknowledge the existence of something within their, or they need to acknowledge the existence of their body as having parts. So I just don't think Todo's statement should be taken hyper literally as the way you're trying to interpret
What are you
it.
talking about? When they say that, it's basically referring to how Yuji separates his, in terms of manipulating his cursed energy, he separates his fist from the rest of the body. That's why he had divergent fists and a lag in his cursed energy. But when he thinks of his body as one entire thing and he flows the cursed energy throughout that one entire thing, that's why he no longer has that jet lag in his cursed energy control. And he's using it, or when he's just naturally punching and whatnot. But in this specific instance, where it brings up the elite sorcerer and the average sorcerer, we see the elite sorcerer, which usually is being taught to become like, is able to flow the cursed energy relatively throughout their body, which is why you can't tell exactly what they're going to do because no specific part of their body has more cursed energy than the other. That's why when we see in the Mahito fight, we see that Yuji switches to an average fighting style because he requires all the cursed energy to beat him. That's why we see Mahito is able to know exactly what he's going to do and can sense that all of his cursed energy is being focused into his fist and that he's going to be able to punch him, or he's trying to go for a one-shot finish. That's why I'm saying that outside of this specific instance, or outside of that specific case where Yuji manipulates that curse energy in that manner, we should it should be the case that he's flowing it relatively throughout his body because that's what Toto shows him and Toto tells him to do, and says
Yeah,
that's the
you're not
practice.
understanding.
Not understanding what?
Okay, so let's read this scan together, bro. Thinking of your own body as disparate body parts is what delays your curse energy. Blah, blah,
What do you
blah.
think that
Okay,
means?
yeah, you can chill because I just let you ramble. So I'm gonna say my point.
I wasn't even
So
done, but what do you think that means?
yeah, I said you're not understanding. Okay, my argument
Yeah.
is that him thinking of his body as one whole right, does not exclude my interpretation. It doesn't mean that, oh, he's now flowing it relatively. That's just a complete jump in logic. Oh, he thinks of his body as one whole, therefore this necessitates that he's flowing it relatively throughout his body. That doesn't
Yes,
make any sense. Okay,
I
nothing
already
like that's what.
explained
Wait.
why.
Oh, anyways, nothing in the scan that you pointed towards explains this or shows this. I already explained how in the Utah instance, it could just be the fact that he's controlling it more precisely. And in the first scan with the average person,
God.
he's letting the cursed energy just wither away and give away his attack. However, in the second attack, he's keeping his cursed energy more tight and close to his body. So it's hard
That's
to
why
tell what
I
the
asked,
curse.
why can
Wait,
you
hold. I
condense
was
your
not
cursed
done. I
energy?
was not done. I was not
No,
done.
you just
I was
repeated
not
yourself.
done. I was not
You just
done. I was
repeated
not done. I
yourself.
was not
That's
done.
why
I
I
was not
asked you,
done. I was
why
not
can you
done. I was not
condense your
done.
cursed energy?
I was not done. I was not done.
If you don't
So
answer, that's
I was
fine with
not
me.
done. I was mid sentence. I was not done.
If you don't answer, that's
So
fine
he's
with me.
controlling and wrapping it more tightly around his body.
Why can
You
you
tried to
condense cursed
debunk the
energy?
UG example by saying that, oh yeah, in that example he switches to a more basic style, with like focusing it into his fists or whatever, which would mean that, you know, his durability increases or whatnot. I don't like think that's even a defeater, bro. Like with this entire like disparate ways of manipulating cursed energy. If you're trying to like say it like that, does not mean that he's flowing it relatively throughout his body. Mine is just saying that since he's focused such a large amount of cursed energy into his fists, his neck durability has increased to an extent where if he targets it, he will get knocked out. Right? That's all he's saying. It doesn't mean that typically he wouldn't focus it into his fist more so than the rest of his body parts. Strategically, which is why I've been trying to say since the beginning of the debate, if UG is fighting, it would make sense that he would amplify what he is using to attack in that moment. If he's defending, which is what
Wait,
Odo and Megami examples show, he will amplify what he's using to defend in that moment. By keeping it relative, it doesn't help him in any way. It doesn't prove anything.
you're done?
If you think you've responded, we can move on. I'm gonna dismiss the question you asked when I was mid sentence, and we can just move on.
You're done. One, I don't think you can condense cursed energy because that's what you'd have to prove to say that you can wrap it around tightly. Secondly, in this specific statement, let me break it like this: the specific representation provided by Eugene, like the Udafite, is quite literally in reference to what Toto says. So you saying that you don't see a correlation can just be your own delusion. But what is specifically is being shown here is that what Toto says and how Yuji sees it is that an elite sorcerer's cursed energy is difficult to read because they float relatively throughout their body, whereas an average sorcerer is easily to read because they focus it on one part of their body. And then that's why I brought back the Mahito instance, which accurately depicts this, because we see throughout the fight, we see the casually fighting, but when Yuji specifically wants to use all of his cursed energy, as he specifically says, we see that Mahito is able to realize that he's using all of his cursed energy within his fist, and that's why he's able to understand that he's trying to go for a one shot. And then that's why he also says afterwards that if he just dodges the attack and he goes for him, he can one shot him because his durability is going to be a lot lower if all of his cursed energy is within his fist. That's why I say that the natural way to manipulate cursed energy, based off what Toto is saying, should be to relatively flow it throughout your body. And then back to this specific instance of whatever this Megami and Yuji thing, I don't even think it's a representation of his cursed energy flow or like the entirety of it. It just shows his fist because he's not even anything like actually accurate. I just don't think that's an accurate representation of what his flow currently is in general. I just think it could be I guess his fists are fired up or whatever. I just don't think there's any correlation in your argument to say that that's his entire flow just because you see the cursed energy around his fist.
Alright, bro.
And then
So
that was
yeah.
yeah, and then you said it's common sense to focus cursed energy around the fist that or yeah, around the fist that you're using because Yuji uses his fist to attack. And one, I don't think that's a defeater to anything because I'm saying that he's still amplifying his fist and his entire body with cursed energy, but he's just doing so relatively so his attacks aren't easily read.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Do you know what accuracy means?
What do you? In what instance? When it states
Uh,
it?
no, just the denotation of the word accuracy.
Uh, how on point something is?
Okay, on point. Cool. So the semantic context of the statement where it says an elite fighter has greater accuracy when it comes to controlling cursed energy would link up with my interpretation that when he's controlling his cursed energy, an average fighter is not as accurate or not as precise when manipulating the cursed energy around his fist, hence why it like waves around and flickers around and it gives away his position. However, an elite fighter,
Wait,
because he
it
has,
doesn't
I
flicker
wasn't
around.
done talk, but I wasn't done talking, chill. I just let you talk again. Okay. Whereas an elite fighter has greater accuracy and is more precise and on point of his manipulation. Therefore, the cursed energy around his fist does not give away his position. I don't think it's necessarily he's focusing more and more cursed energy into his fist thing. For the UG example, it doesn't like there's no correlation. UG focuses all his cursed energy, so Mahito makes a connection and says since he's focusing all of it into his fist, his neck durability will decrease. That does not mean that prior to this he was not focusing cursed energy into his fist more so than the rest of his body parts. I'm literally saying that since what's it called? Prior to this, in the fight, he's attacking with his fists. He's clearly focusing cursed energy into his fist in order to do so. And I'm saying that based on this other representation of their abilities, which you said that you don't think is visually accurate for, I don't fucking know why. Like, I don't know why you said it's not visually accurate. I don't think it was a justified explanation. It's literally showing them preparing for battle, and it's showing Megami preparing his shadow and Yuji preparing his cast energy around his fist. It will just show and entail that when Yuji is attacking with his fists, okay, he focuses it into his fists, okay? It's that simple. Um, as for the total statement, I'm still not seeing the connection here. Sure, he can think of the body as one part, right? Even though in the next scan he literally describes cosmic energy flowing through the body with parts and components. He says from the belly component, shoulders, arms, fists component. That is how cosmic energy flows. That's fine. Even though he's thinking of it as components, that's fine. Even if he thinks of it as one part, I don't see how it renders the possibility of him, flowing it within combat, unproportional or improportionately within combat. I asked you for like instances where they'd flow it relatively, because I gave instances where in order to defend or attack, they don't flow it relatively, such as Todo, Megami, Yuji twice, etc., etc. And you just didn't really present me with any instances. I feel like I'm beginning to repeat myself here. So we can just move on to like
in order to beat him. And then we see Mahito after that makes note of that. So I'm saying within the specific instance, it should be the case that he's focusing all of his curse energy within the fist. But before that instance, it shouldn't be the case, which supports the fact that he should be relatively flowing curse energy before that instance. And then as for like the Yuji and Megumi statement, I don't even think it's a matter of that they're preparing for battle. I think it's just they're fired up to fight Awasaka, and the fact that they can't waste time there because Gojo's already gotten sealed. I don't even think it's a matter of they've already flowed their cursed energy throughout their body, and then Megumi brought out his like Shigigamis or whatnot. I don't think it's anything of the sorts. So I don't know where you're getting the idea that they're preparing for battle when whatever they're like, even the little snake thing that Megami brings out within that panel, he doesn't use throughout that entire battle the entire time. So I don't even think it's a matter of preparation. And then you're saying that there's instances where he's using whatever it's called. You said there's instances where I guess they shift their cursed energy differently for offense and defense. Where I'm saying it's not a just general case that for offense they shift it and for defense they shift it. I'm saying in specific cases where they require that in order to win the battle, because those statements are made in or those statements are quite literally specified to say that Yuji needed it in his fist to win the battle, And then Toto clearly needed to put all of his cursed energy within his stomach in order to survive the attack. That's why I think there's special cases in which they required that cursed energy all within that specific component. But naturally, outside of those components or outside of those instances, they would just be flowing it relatively. So I don't think it's a general case of just offense and defense like you're trying to make it.
Okay, bro. So this is the final time I'm gonna repeat what I said because he didn't respond to it once again. First of all, you asked me what I meant by flickering around. Maybe that was poor
No,
wording
I
on my
actually
part.
proved it's flickering around. The
You
straw
can
manning
ask me to.
already.
Okay, wait.
Yo,
Actually,
Shinra, end this
I'll give
shit.
you
End
the
this
benefit.
shit.
I'll give you, bro. Anyways, I'll give you benefit of the doubt, bro. Go ahead and ask me what I need to prove.
I said to prove that it is flicking around because I already given an explanation as to
Yeah,
why
all
it's
right,
just the
cool,
flow
cool.
of
Yeah,
Earth
yeah, yeah.
energy.
I got you, I got you, I got you. So when I say flickering around, maybe that's just poor wording. I mean that the cursed energy is not close to the fist. It is like an aura around the fist that reveals its location when compared to the rest of the body. When I say that this is a likely representation, I'm appealing to the semantics. I'm saying that because it says precise and precise is on point or accurate, he's being more accurate with which or where he or how he controls his cast energy around his fist. He's making it closer to the fist so that it's harder to tell whether he's attacking with the fist or not until the attack is obviously unleashed. As for the total statement, where it says this is how cast energy flows from the belly, shoulders, arms to the fist, this is how cast energy flows. Like I don't see why it necessitates based on this statement alone once again why it has to be flown relatively. All he is explaining the flow of curse energy, and we know that when you understand curse energy, when you understand how curse energy works, such as when Gojo understands it, um we get like all black flashes and other examples, two examples. When you understand curse energy deeper and you gain a deeper, more refined understanding, your ability to manipulate your curse energy more precisely increases. Okay, that's what happens. Okay, for the divergent fist, I think that's a curse energy control manipulation. Because I don't. I think he might have brought it up. I'm just going to clear that up. The reason why he struggles to control his divergent fist, in accordance with my interpretation, would just be his curse energy control is insufficient, and his curse energy control is insufficient in response or in correlation to his physical body. Therefore, his curse energy control needs to increase so that he can control it in a way that aligns with his physical body. Um, what's it called? Whether that I don't necessarily think he has to increase the flow. It's just a precision thing, accuracy thing. As for the Megami and Yuji example, they're literally going into fight. The Awasaka's right in front of them. They're going into box. I don't understand. You're trying to say, oh, he never uses the snake Shikigami. We never see him use the snake Shikigami. Does not mean that he didn't use the snake Shikigami. Unless you want to say that Megami, I wasn't done. Doesn't unless you
You're a
because
retard.
obviously because fights are off screen. You can have events off screen in a fight. Just because we don't see something happen does not mean that something didn't happen. I don't understand. So Megami, right? Unless you think Megami pulled out the snake to retract the snake, you manipulated this cursed energy to formulate a snake only to retract the shape and waste cursed energy despite him saying we cannot waste time here. It would make sense that he used the snake just off screen. That's like us saying if Yuji doesn't get shown walking to Shibuya, he didn't walk to Shibuya. Doesn't make
Yo,
any
the
sense.
judge has something to say to y'all.
As
Oh,
for
that's
wait, hold on,
that's
chill,
just
chill, chill.
The,
analogous.
the
As for
judge, the
anyway,
judge would like to say that
chill,
that
chill,
shit
chill,
is
chill, chill,
not a
chill.
snake. It is
Chill, chill.
divine dog. That's what
Yeah.
Shinra said. That's
Yeah,
what he told
Divine
me to
Dog
tell
Snake.
y'all.
I don't know where it is, bro. Divine Dog Snake, cool. I don't know if it was
Divine
a
dog.
snake or anything. But yeah, so and then yeah, like I said, bro. As for this entire curse energy flowing it relatively, blah blah blah. Todo is just saying, oh,
The reason that he says 1-to-1 with his body isn't the reason why Divergent Fist is gone. he naturally already has a cursed energy flow, and when he flows cursed energy, his physical body just happens to be faster than his cursed energy flow. That's why he has to take his physical attributes and his cursed energy and then flow that relatively throughout the body, so his speed can be equal to his cursed energy flow. So it's not a matter of just thinking of it as one thing, so all of a sudden it becomes one thing. Isn't the issue here? It's the matter of how he flows it differently now leads to it becoming one thing. So I don't know what you were just
Yeah.
rambling about.
Oh,
And
it's
then
not
as
ramble.
for
It's not
the
ramble. It's not ramble. Are you done?
and then
Can I respond, please?
as for like the divine dog shit, I mean, do you think it's a divine dog or it's a snake? Because then that
I
changes
don't.
it.
I think it's the formulation of one of his shikigami. That's what I think it
Okay,
is.
if it's a formulation of one of his shikigami, then Yuji can be formulating his CE flow. We can move off that.
That's
And
what the
then
fuck.
and then as for like the tightness thing, it's definitely not a matter of tightness because he goes on afterwards to explain how Yuta is surging cursed energy throughout his entire body, like far away from his body as visually depicted, despite referencing him as an elite sorcerer because he's unable to read his attacks. So it's just not a matter of tightness, it just be a matter of how they flow it.
Are you done, buddy?
Yeah.
All right. So first point you made, which is the only point I really care about, is the divergent fist point. You said, and I quote, "Physical bodies faster than cursed energy. Take physical attributes, flow it. Take physical attributes and cursed energy and flow relatively." I don't know how in the world you can take a physical attribute and flow it relatively. I don't know how that makes sense to you. I don't know how I can. I don't know. I have muscles in my calves. Let me add it to my bicep. I don't think that's how science, biology. I don't think that's how it works.
You're trying to apply
But I
science to
wasn't done.
cursed
I wasn't done. I
energy?
wasn't done. I wasn't done. I wasn't done. I wasn't done. I wasn't done.
Nigga
I
said
wasn't done.
science. Yo,
I
pack
wasn't
this
done. I
nigga
wasn't
up,
done.
bro.
You're trying to apply science?
I wasn't done. I wasn't done. So yeah, that's not
God,
how biology
whatever,
works. You
bro.
can't
It's how
flow your
biology
body
works.
stats. You can't flow alternate your body stats. Oh, let me put my 20 strength into speed instead. Let me reset my stats. Not how it
No, he's
works.
getting this from
Uh,
fucking hentai.
anyway, who are these? Anyways, let me turn out all disease one. He lost the shit. I don't care about what he has to say. So, anyways, bro.
All right, buddy. Now we were saying today.
As for what he said about the divergent fist thing, I don't necessarily think that your explanation is sufficient. The fact of the matter
Wait,
is,
as for
bro,
wait,
hold
what
on,
did you
hold
say?
on, hold on, hold
If you hear
on,
me say
hold,
what did you
hold.
say, don't say hold on,
Who
fuckhead.
said, what
Repeat
did I
what you
say?
said.
Odin?
I said what did you
This nigga's
say?
right.
Bro, okay. I said I don't think that you can take your physical body and flow the
No,
attributes
no,
of your
not
physical.
the second part. The
I
second
said I
part. What
don't
you
think your explanation is sufficient. Okay. I
okay,
don't
there
think
you
your
go, yeah.
yeah. So I don't think your explanation is sufficient. All right. The term that Toda uses, once again, I'm gonna apply to the. I'm gonna appeal to the semantics that your curse energy is delayed. Okay. Gojo says the same thing. Your curse energy has a slight delay. All right. As in, it comes in later than your body. The cause of this is because Yuji thinks of his fist or his body as disparate parts. He thinks of them as different. So he makes a punch and he thinks of his body as different. And then after he says, I need to flow my curse energy into the punch. Okay, that's why. That's why the curse energy comes in later than the punch in itself. By thinking of his body as one part, all right, and think of his curse energy as obviously one part. Curse energy doesn't have parts. They're now one to one. So he would now flow the curse energy into his fist as he's punching. The flow would happen simultaneous to the punch. Therefore, there will no longer be any delay. This is once again not a speed thing, alright? It's not how fast he's flowing around the body. It's simply the time or the point in which he begins to flow his curse energy in relation to the point in which he begins to throw the punch. Which is what semantically Todo is trying to imply here when he says, think of something as one part, think of something as one whole, etc., etc., etc. As for the Yuta example, you said that Yuta's like, I don't know, surging curse energy throughout his whole body. Sure, in this instance, Yuta can be flowing it throughout his entire body to make it like hard to predict what he's going to do. That's completely fine. I'm saying that in general instances, you can't apply and say that sorcerer would typically do this. And once again, and
you
once
just
again, like, wait, chill. And once again, you said that Yuji can just be formulating his curse energy. I don't think you know what a formulation is. When you're formulating something, you're giving something form, alright? As in, he's creating a
Oh my.
Shikigami. Yuji is what? Creating his curse. That doesn't make any sense. What Yuji is doing,
when I
what
say formulating his curse energy flow. No, because it's a quick explanation, bro. It doesn't need to be an entire thing. It doesn't need to be an entire thing. It doesn't need to be an entire thing.
Nigga trying to
Because you
be
don't understand what
Einstein of
you
JJK. Nigga trying
don't
to be the
understand what I mean by
Einstein of
formulating, and it's
JJK.
pointless.
Okay. So
I'm just gonna keep
anyway,
going anyway. Like the second you stop talking, you let me explain what I mean by
Let
formulating.
your
You just
fucking
continue acting like a fucking retard.
bro.
Bro,
Can y'all
Back
moderate?
and back
Can y'all moderate,
forever.
bro? I'm
I
not trying to hear
server
it.
muted him. I server muted him. That nigga is trying to be Einstein on
Anyway, you
JJK.
could just attack it afterwards. I don't see what's the issue because you say you don't know what I mean by formulating, then you proceed to attack what you think I mean by formulating. That's dumb. But I'll tell you what exactly I mean. For example, divine dog is clearly a process in which he has to make the shadow into the divine dog and then bring it out the shadow, whatever you want to fucking call it. I'm gonna make this quick. But what I say by formulating cursed energy would just be how Toto explains it, by starting from a specific point and then flowing it throughout his body. So I'm saying he hasn't completely flowed the cursed energy throughout his body. That's why we only see it in his fists. There you go. That's all there was to it. I don't know if he left or some shit, but you can unserve and mute him.
The fuck?
Ama söyle şurada.
Somebody unmute the nigga. Holy shit, hold on.
yeah, I'm not continuing this shit here. I'll just make my final response and we can save the rec. Cause what the fuck? I don't know why I was subbing weird. When my entire point is that they're preparing for battle. Okay, they're preparing for battle. The fact that they choose to visually depict his cuss energy
Ace
in
as moderator?
his fists, right, would imply, okay, that he's focused the cuss energy there. We see when Todo flows the cuss energy and he's describing the flow of cuss energy, he's flowing it throughout his body to show and depict the flow. Hence why it's depicted throughout his whole body. When the average sorcerer is showing, or not when the average sorcerer, when Utah is flowing his cuss energy and he's surging it deliberately in order to make his attacks harder to predict, okay, they show it around his entire body. When Yuji's preparing for battle and preparing to fight, okay, they show it visually depicted around his entire fist. This is to emphasize that he has consciously made the decision to focus the cursed energy there.
Yo,
Just an
Shinra,
elaboration
force
of my
the
previous point.
conclusions, bro.
And you also
Repeat
never
yourself.
We can save the rec there because I don't know why I got seven
No.
years. I don't know why I got seven years.
Nigga is
No, 'cause I
chatting.
haven't.
We can move
No.
to Celestia if you want, but
No, I
Nigga said
haven't
we
even
could
finished
move
the
to
point. We could finish
Celestia.
the
no,
point.
Nigga didn't even get to finish
I'm
his
not finishing the
point.
point
No, we
here.
could finish the point and end the
No,
debate here.
I'm not finished. No, because guess what? I'll try to get moderation. I was making a sentence. You cut me
I
off
said I
mid-sentence,
can finish
and then
the
you
point.
proceeded to get muted after you cut me off.
See, getting
How does
ready
that
to
make
go
any
to
sense? I'm not
Celestia
gonna
after he
continue
gets
debating here.
banned for
Also,
losing the
I know
astro. He's
all
getting
the
ready
suck
early.
your mum, bro, suck your father,
He's
suck
getting
your
ready to
grandfather,
go there.
suck your grandfather,
He's
suck your
getting
mother, suck
ready to
everybody,
go
bro,
to
suck your entire family,
Celestia
bro. Big man
already,
thing.
bro.
Big man
Nigga
thing.
is getting
Also,
ready,
so
bro.
who's
He know he
babbling, bro?
getting
Who's
banned.
babbling?
Nigga
You're
know
the one
he
that's
lost the
babbling, bro.
debate.
Who's babbling? No
Nigga
one
know
listen to
he
Big Man.
lost
Yo,
the
see, y'all can
Bro,
be
bro.
mod.
See,
Big Man.
And I
see,
quote
think about your life. You sit on here
Yeah, no,
every day, all day, begging niggas to debate, bro. You are a loser.
Bro, stop muting
Yo,
him. Stop
Shinra,
muting him for no fucking reason.
hurry up and get the
300
judgment, bro. We
300 views,
packing
bro.
this
You
nigga
suck.
up,
You're
man.
terrible. You can
I'm
come back
sorry,
if you
pack
want.
this nigga
How
up,
can
bro.
you?
This
How can
nigga's
you come?
fucking
How can I
terrible.
come on a
Bro, didn't
server
I already
and niggas
beat
are
you?
muting me, bro?
Didn't
Then
I already
suck your
beat
dad,
you, bro?
bro.
Like
Big man,
low
suck your
diff, nigga.
grandfather.
You
You big
suck,
belly
nigga.
bitch, bro. You
Yo,
big pot
Shinra,
belly bitch, bro.
hurry up
Suck
and
up,
tell me
bro.
the
Shut up your
judgment,
mouth
bro.
and shut up,
Tell
bro.
me the
Fat
judgment. A
shit.
deal
Shut
is a
up. Fat shit. Shut up. Fat belly, big belly,
Bro,
bro.
this
Belly,
man, bro,
fat belly,
bro,
big belly.
yo, see, do you want me to moderate?
Arrogant
Yo,
bitch.
see, do
Shut
you want
up,
me to
Yo,
man.
moderate?
whoever server muted me is
Shut up,
fucked.
bro. Fat
Whoever
shit.
server
Fat
muted me
shit.
is
Big belly
fucked.
bitch, bro.
Give me the
Bitch,
judgment,
bro.
Shinra.
Shut up. Shut your
Shinra,
mouth.
give me the judgment.
Shut your mouth, bro.
Bro, do you
Shut
want
your
me to
mouth.
moderate? Oh my
I'm
god,
not
bro.
debating here, bro. This is not the first time. Tensa suck your mum, bro. Being like, suck your dad, bro. I don't care.
What the fuck is
You're the
your
one
problem
babbling,
with me,
bro.
bro?
You're the one
Turn
What did
on
I
babbling,
you.
even
bro.
do?
How am I gonna get serving me?
But see,
You're the one
I don't think
babbling.
you
I don't give a fuck if you get muted or not. That's not my thing. Go back to Celestia when you want. Stop fucking whining and be such a little bitch.
Suck your
But
dad.
see, I don't think you understand the reason he did that is because he thought he was the moderation. If you agree to me moderating, he won't
That's what I
mute you.
said. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
he was
Damn,
not
bro,
the
you're not telling me.
moderation.
You're not telling me nobody wanted to get you muted when all you were doing is la 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 la.
He was not
No one's gonna listen to that.
was trying to
It's not the
talk. Nigga, I have
moderation,
to
bro.
mute you.
It was not the moderation. Shinra, I'll move to
Celestia.
Celestia to repeat my argument. I'm not doing this shit here. This is not the first time.
Bro, just agree to me moderating. He won't abuse
No,
you,
I'm
bro.
not
It's
doing
that
no,
hard,
bro. No. I get
Bro,
angry.
you
These
was
niggas
making-
blame it on me. No, bro. No.
But nigga, because you was making dumbass noises.
No, he was still no. I was mid sentence. He started speaking over me.
The nigga
He
was
started
literally
speaking
making
over me.
squealing noises
He
and
started
he was
speaking over
Einstein.
He started speaking
Oh,
over me.
okay,
See.
alright, listen, hold up, bro, hold up, bro.
You was talking
No,
over
no,
time,
bro,
Celestial,
listen,
mute the
hold up,
Celestial,
bro.
bro.
Yo,
I should have moved the Celestial. Wait, no, should have moved the Celestial. No, should have moved the Celestial. Mute the Celestial.
Okay, listen, hold up, before you'll see. Instead of you making a noise, you should have just said, you should have asked somebody to moderate that. Man, Tyler, be quiet, bro. You see, bro, you're chatting. Anyways, you'll see. If he cuts you off, you should have told us to moderate instead of making the noise, bro.
Wait, no. What happened? Okay, what happened was we already agreed to moderation. He cut me off at the beginning of the debate.
Who was the moderator, bro?
The moderator, I can't remember who said they moderate. But we agreed to moderation at the beginning of the debate. Whether it was Alden, I don't know. I told him, I don't want you to cut me off. He cut me off. He kept cutting me off. I said something. I said, I don't know what you mean by X. That doesn't make sense semantically. He said, oh, this is what I meant. Start cutting me off. So I said, I don't care. You're cutting me off. I'm mid-sentence.
Wait, hold up, closer.
Oh my God, Alden, shut your mouth, bro. What's your occupation?
You'll see an Astro.
Alden, what's your occupation?
Hold up. See an Astro. Agree to me to be moderator, bro.
I'm not, bro. I'm not debating. Nigga, on my dick, bro. On Celestial,
he's not even on your dick.
Yeah, definitely on your dick. You didn't just try blazing me with your seat for no fucking reason, you fat ass.
Bro, terrible, fat shit, bro.
Hold up, see.
Oh,
he don't care, bro.
Wallahi, I'm not debating here, bro. Can we move to Celestial or something? I'm not debating here.
Nigga, Sinra is banned for Celestial.
I'm not debating here. Astro, that's what you're arguing. You need to argue. You're interjecting, bro. We can get judgment. We can get judgment.
Yeah, Shinra, give him that judgment.
I haven't finished the point. We're
no,
done.
I don't give a shit. Next time, don't cut me off.
Okay, fine. You can get judgment.
We can move to a different server. That's what we can
next time this nigga asks you to debate, don't do it. This nigga's on fun.
We can move to a different server. We can move to a different server.
Alright, bro, it's simple. He don't want to move to a different server. He don't want to stay in here, bro. It's inconclusive.
David, he wanted you in here to prove that he was something. He was like, let me get my dad David in here. You're making an ass of yourself. You're making an ass of yourself.
Yo, bro. It's simple.
You think this father's gesture, nigga. You think my father's gesture, nigga. You know when you got the flashbacks to me and him whooping you.
I'm debating you right now, bro. You don't care.
You'll see Astro, bro.
Bitch, you have no job.
You was already not attacking shit. Astro just put your ass in a pack. He didn't even need to use any of his rhetoric. He used negative 50 rhetoric and beat you, nigga. You're a clown, nigga. You're the Epstein of Discord. You think you're the Einstein of debating, nigga. You're not smart, nigga. Nigga said I'm gonna use science in the JJK debate. David, are you teaching this nigga to use science in these JJK debates? He's not using the teachings right. He's not using the teachings right. Clown ass nigga. Yo, Shinra, give us the judgment. This nigga talking about he using science. Go sit in Celestial with Cameron, nigga.
Y'all gonna just keep it as inconclusive.
Nigga think he Einstein. Nigga think he Einstein. Yo, Shinra, give us this judgment, nigga.
Bro, I'm pretty sure it's just inconclusive since y'all don't want to continue to debate.
Yeah, we know you not debating here, nigga. You don't deserve to debate here, you bitch ass nigga. Keep my name out your fucking mouth.